In previous lesson, you have seen that we use the expression box parentheses open and close or a sphere open and close and created a box or a sphere on the scene. The expression box parentheses open and close is a function. You can create almost any object or shape or items in 3D Max similar to function box. They are built-in function. Later, you will also learn how to create your own function. Now, for example, I want to create a teapot, so I type teapot, parentheses open and close, and it will create a teapot, and here the properties. So let me clear here. I create, I assign the box to the variable x, create a box. Now that we create object, we can change or access to its properties too. Any object you create in 3D Max has a set of properties or attributes. So first, we need to see what properties that object has. We use a function called show properties. So show properties and then name of the variable, in this case x. Here you can see the properties of the box. Before we move on, you should note that the MAXScript is not case sensitive. So you can write the show properties all in lowercase or capital, but we use camel case to make it easier to read. So back to properties of the box. There is a dot, then there is a property name and property type. So now how I access to that property? You can modify an object property by setting the property to the new value. I type the name of the variable x, then dot. So here I want to know the length. I hit enter. Okay, I use the cursor at the end. So you can see the length of this box is 25. The same that we hear in the parameters of that box and the modifier panel, we can see. And we can change it, just equal sign, and then I change it to 50. So it changed to 50. So we can access to that property and then also change it. Instead of show properties, you can also use let me just x equal to the sphere, parentheses open and close. You can use the show instead of show properties, show x, and here let me just clear this again. Show is actually the short form for the show properties, so you just need to write the show and the name of property, the name of the variable, and it shows all the property of that variable. There is something called here type in. If you are using 3D Max 2080 or higher, you will see these type in. If you are using the older version, there is no type in property. They reflect the parameters on the keyboard entry, which we will talk later. So if I want to change the radius, I will just write the radius. So x dot radius is equal to 50. And here in the property type, you will see the integer and the float. So for example, we can change the radius to 51.6. And in the parameters, the radius is a float. It can get the decimal number. But the segments are integer because we cannot have the half of the segment. But let's see what will happen if I write it, if I change it to I change the segments here to a float number such as a 21.5. it didn't crash. Let me just again. It didn't crash. And here it is not giving me the 21.5. It 3D Max automatically converted to the integer. So if I change it to the 9, it is still 29, 21. If I change it to 22.9, it will just give me the 22 segments. So 3D Max automatically convert float to the integer and integer to float in this case. And the last thing I want to say, maybe you just create the object here and you didn't create it by MAXScript and you want to access to the properties of this object. So we use a $sign variable to hold current selection. So I write show and $sign. $sign is the current object that is selected. So hit enter and it shows me all the properties. I want to change it. So instead of name of the variable, because we don't have, so I write the $sign dot 8 to 10. So it changed. So the $sign is for the selected object.